At my age 18, I moved from Sudbury, Ontario to Collège Militaire Royal de Saint-Jean in Saint-Jean, Quebec. It was a French-speaking town and I only spoke English. This is the entrance to the military college. I had never been in the Army before. I'd never been in any military organization, not even Air Cadets, Sea Cadets. So this was a completely new experience and I was suddenly enlisted in the regular forces. Just ahead is the Commandant's office, and I'll show you the importance of that a little bit later in this video. On the right hand side is the mess hall. That's where all the officer cadets ate. It's just on the right side of this stop sign. This is the command offices on the left hand side and one of the churches, and then after that is the parade square. I mentioned the term officer cadet, and that's what I was. I was an officer cadet at military college. My squadron was Tracy Squadron, or Escadron Tracy, and that's the building coming up on the left-hand side. My window is the one on the third floor looking out towards the road. My window faced the academic wing and also the road. This is the front entrance to Tracy Squadron. Here you can see a close-up of the plaque. Escadron Tracy, that's in French, and Tracy Squadron in English. So that was my window right up there, and from the window I could see what's called the academic wing, which is the main building for the university, because Collège Militaire Royal is actually a university, and so it's right across the street right here. This is me in front of the academic building, and my mother's to the right of me, and I don't know who those people are to my left. You can see the nervous but determined look on my face, and it's right there, right here in this parking lot. This is me up in my room studying. I think I was doing math there. Had a little mustache, and look how thin I was. So again, from my room, this was the view that I had directly across the street, which was the academic wing, or the main part of the university. Coming up on the left-hand side, you can see some tanks and some other squadrons and other buildings. There were 8 squadrons, as I recall, and there is the parade square with that artillery cannon in the corner over there. That is a very important part of military college, and here is the front of the academic wing. It's called the Deliri building, Edifice Deliri. That entrance right there was the main entrance for the professors and also the officers. We had to go in through the side door, as I showed you. The side door was located just across the street from my window, as I showed you where I was standing with my little beret. And that is the crest of CMR, or Collège Militaire Royal. Directly across the street from that crest is the parade square, and this is a central focus of the college. This is where all of the drill took place, all of the marching, standing at attention, major ceremonies were all held here. The parade square, or terrain de parade. By the way, all military colleges in Canada are bilingual, French and English. This parade square was important for many memories. This was the main assembly ground for all the parades. I actually saw the Queen of England here, and also Pierre Elliott Trudeau. We had to stand at attention as they walked by. And also, if you did anything wrong, you had to be here at 6 o'clock in the morning with your rifle above your head and run around the parade square. And you had to do a circle, and they used to call it a circle. So you got punishment of like 3 circles. You have to do 3 rounds of the parade square at 6 o'clock in the morning, then have to get everything ready, your boots and shoes signed, and show up for inspection. So it disrupted your schedule and to wake up earlier. So that was the punishment. Anything wrong, like a bed crease out of place, you didn't fold a pillow properly, you didn't press your pants properly. Yeah. I'm now walking through the parade square, actually on the parade square grounds, and I'm heading towards the river, the Richelieu River that you see up ahead. Give you an idea how thin I got, this is what I looked like after recruit camp. Look how thin I was. Not only thin, but completely terrified. I have many memories of the river and sitting by the river. There used to be park benches along here, and if I could, there'd be park benches right about here. I would just want to be alone and contemplate my life. Being alone just helped me to contemplate, and I was trying to build my self-confidence and trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And I remember many times I would just come here and just sit on the park bench if I could get a few minutes to myself. Yeah, I'm sorry there's a fence between me and the railing for the river, but this is a very memorable place for me. I was so lonely here, and I would sit in one of these park benches. There were park benches right along here, and I would just look out at the river and just imagine freedom. And I don't know what that would look like or anything, but I used to imagine I would just swim to the other side, I guess. Mind of a child, you know, being able to escape the army. Yeah, I just dreamt of freedom. I missed my mother. I felt like a failure, had low self-esteem while I was here because of the constant punishment, but it changes you after a while. I joined the Canadian Army for two purposes. One was to get away from my father, and also to try to earn his respect. So this is me at age 7 at Capreol High School where my dad worked, and he raved about this kid just to his right behind him. That was John Armstrong, and he went to military college. And I got quietly jealous of him raving about John Armstrong so much, and that was one of the main reasons I joined the Army. So this is the CMR sports facility, and I'll show you a picture. So now you see me at age 19 wearing the same scarlet uniform as John Armstrong, and that's with my first girlfriend, Celine. So I took this picture to show my father, and of course he wasn't proud of me, and he was really disgusted by Celine. That's my life. You could never do anything right with that old man, my father. This is the main sports area of CMR. Playing sports and participating in sports was a big part of the military experience. Every day at 4 o'clock, you had to play a sport for 2 hours. And it could either be a varsity sport, which you get a few more credits for, or it could be an intramural sport. But you had to be active for 2 hours between 4 and 6. Guess what I still do today at my age? I still go for a run or a walk at 4 o'clock every day between 4 and 6. And that's what you had to do between 4 and 6, 4 o'clock. That was the time. And it's conditioned in me ever since childhood, ever since I came here. Yeah, I used to run. I used to enjoy cross-country running and playing squash. Those are two varsity teams I was on here. And that means we competed against other universities and other colleges, which was great because then you could get out on weekends and go to see what the civilian universities used to look like. And that was a treat. This is me competing in a cross-country running race during that time. Standard distance was 6 miles or 10 kilometers. I think my record time was 39 minutes and change over that distance. To have that level of fitness, you have to be thin, and I was. This is me in December of 1978. So this is me on Fort Lauderdale Beach at age 19. I went for a Christmas vacation there. First time I got leave in the Army. So back to the academic wing and the view from out my window at Tracy Squadron. So this is the Tracy Squadron prep class here, and there I am to the top right-hand corner. This is me in the next year of the yearbook. This is year 2 of me being at CMR. There I am in the center. I was at CMR for a total of 3 years, and this is year 3 of 3. And there I am in the back row right there. Back to the academic wing and the main education building right there. That is the university part of Collège Militaire Royal right there. and I'll show you me in, well, there's the parade square again. Wanted to show you what it was like to parade. So this is Remembrance Day, 1977, November. And this is the Remembrance Day parade in Ottawa in front of the cenotaph. And there I am lined up right in the front row, and I met Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau for the first time on that day. I mentioned the Commandant's office at the beginning of this video, and it was a very important building, and you can see it just up ahead over there. In October of 1977, my dad met with the Commandant of CMR and insisted that I be released from the college. He wanted to take me home. The Commandant brought me into his office. He asked me how old I was, and I told him I was 18. He then said, well, you're an adult now, so you can make your own decision. Do you want to go with your father, or do you want to stay here at the military college? Even though I felt terrible being at the military college, I chose to stay. That was a proud turning point in my life. So I had to make a choice. And you'd think it was a difficult choice, but it was an easy one. And, I felt lonely, I felt depressed, I felt terrible, but I had hope here, and I chose hope over no hope. I completed 3 years at CMR, and in 1980 I moved on to RMC in Kingston, Royal Military College in Kingston, and I'll take you there next. So the physical distance between the two military colleges is about 4.5 hours apart. So after completing 3 full years at CMR, I went to my final year at RMC in Kingston, and this is the entrance to RMC in Kingston. RMC is much bigger than CMR, and RMC is the main military academy in Canada. It's located in Kingston, just at the bottom of the hill from Fort Henry, which is a major tourist attraction in Kingston. And this is the entrance to the Royal Military College grounds. The day I made this video, unfortunately, the college was closed due to an emergency. They had a power failure, and they weren't letting any guests onto the campus. So I went up top to Fort Henry, and I will show you the college down below. And that's RMC below that you can see from Fort Henry. My squadron at RMC is the first building, which is that building, Squadron 1, Stone Frigate Military Academy. So here's my yearbook picture at RMC from Stone Frigate Military Academy. There I am in the back, right there. You see me? You see the fire escape on the outside of the building over there? Well, here's that same fire escape on the last day of class in 1980. And look at me up there wearing that suit and looking off into the distance. I was pretty disenchanted with the Army back then, and I was looking for a way out, and I actually left the Army about 2 months later. I spent a total of 4 years with the Canadian Armed Forces, and at the end of June of 1981, I left the Canadian Army, and it was an excellent experience as far as developing my self-confidence and also my level of self-esteem and self-discipline. I joined the Army as a scared child, and I left the Army as a grown man, and I feel good about that. That being said, I also realized my limitations. I was not cut out for the Army. I was too creative, too imaginative, and they wanted somebody who was a rule follower. That's what they deserve. But that's not what I deserve for myself. So I did leave the Canadian Army shortly after this photo was taken, about 2 months after this photo was taken. Now I'll show you something really cool. Let's look at the rest of the campus. So you see that building across the parade square? That's Pontiac Squadron. And a very famous student that you may have heard of was attending Pontiac Squadron while I was at RMC. Commander Chris Hatfield was my classmate, and there he is right there in that picture. And Chris was a really nice guy. Chris was very laid back, easy to talk to, and most interestingly, he was not the brightest of the students. He was just an average student, just like the rest of us. He did very well after leaving RMC, and that's where his career really took off. So now back to RMC and my experience. And so I was in the Army from August 15th, 1977 to June 29th, 1981. And as I said, it was a great experience, but it was time to leave. And I started the rest of my life, and hope you follow my videos and follow along. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you can stay tuned for the next one.